Animal Farm. Now, what is Animal Farm? Well, to put it simply, Animal Farm is a book made by George Orwell around the 40s, 1941 to be specific. And Animal Farm by George Orwell is known wide and well as an anti-totalitarian book. It seeks to, give a good insight into anti-totalitarianism and why it doesn't work. However, in this video, we are going to be breaking down why this simply isn't the case and how this is a perfect example of misjudging what a book is all about. So, let's describe what happens in it. Surprisingly enough, you'd expect a book about a topic as in-depth as this to be, maybe hundreds of pages long. But the book, surprisingly enough, is only 36 pages. Now, to me, this seems like just a horrible idea to cover a topic with such depth in such little time and such little intellectual messaging and thought-provoking commentary. Correct? This should be many trillions, millions even, paragraphs. Correct? But for some reason, they decided to put a book of this magnitude with 36 pages and 3 chapters. Now, as I have described, this is the first red flag of this book. But wait, there's even more, so hold your horses. So, one thing I'd like to perfectly say is that supposedly, Animal Farm is supposed to be anti-totalitarian. However, this is simply not the case. There are absolutely no elements of saying anything bad about totalitarianism through all 36 pages of this book. I feel like the results of this kind of anti-totalitarianism message that people think is in this book, this is merely from ridiculous thinking way too hard into this. And you could clearly see the book desperately tries to market this system of communism where the fields are so pretty and such a beautiful harvest. All the animals are harvesting hay and making apples and making milk and everything's so good. However, you could clearly, if you were perceptive, see that literally in the final paragraph of the book, that the pigs are getting so much more than all the other animals, which directly is what went wrong with communism in the Soviet Union. However, George Orwell supposedly puts this thing that clearly disproves the whole equality system of communism freely into his book that's clearly marketed towards communism, even though, stupid people say no, but those people are stupid. Now, that's my input, and I think I've laid out really good evidence as to why this simply is a common misconception that this book is anti-communist and anti-totalitarian. But, I have a British friend. I have a really good British friend that can elaborate so much more on this topic. So, Jeremy, can you please come over here?
I really didn't want to do this, but George Orwell left me no choice. Hey guys, it's Jeremy of Thermopylae here, and today I'm gonna tell you about the hypocrisy of Animal Farm. Animal Farm is a book by George Orwell, written in the 1940s. It's got 36 pages and it features pigs and cows, chickens and dogs, crows and rats. One day, they revolt against the farm owner whose farm they live in, and they claim the farm for themselves. Now, is anything seem off about that statement, yeah? Little bit, right? First off, right, the scene where Mr. Jones is driven off of the farm by the animals, it would never happen in real life. And George Orwell is so blinded by communism that he can't accept this for what it is. He has to resort to strange fictional practices to find his way. Right, and that leads to the main problem I have with Animal Farm. In the first paragraph, you see the animals talking to one another like human beings. Now correct me if I'm wrong, right? Maybe it's different, right? Now, but back then, right, animals could not talk and could not behave like human beings. So, it is immoral for them to achieve a communist or animalist, as they call it, government in the farm. They can't do it. They can't put the government in the farm.
Now, thank you so much, Jeremy. Now, I think that this video perfectly illustrates why communism just doesn't work in the setting of Animal Farm. Right? It just makes no sense. And as I described previously, they try so hard to paint communism in a light picture. But it just does not work. Right? This is not a viable strategy to run a country by. Okay? And I feel like Animal Farm, despite really trying to give evidence to the contrary, just does not pull it through and does not put it together. And that, my friends, is why Animal Farm is such a bad book, okay? People, the fans of this book, just love to think of it as this anti-totalitarian, beautiful message. However, that could not be further from the truth, as even the most dedicated of fans will at least put it through their brains that in this video we have provided solid evidence as to why Animal Farm just does not work as a medium to doing anti-totalitarianism things. And, you know, maybe if George Orwell was still alive, we could ask him.